Hello, I'm Christina, and I'm going to be doing my narrative sermon for Intro to Preaching using the King James Version. I'm going to be reading from the New Testament book of Luke, chapter 12, verses 13 through 21. And one of the company said unto him, Master, speak to my brother that he divide the inheritance with me. And he said unto him, Man, who has made me judge or divider over you? And he said unto them, Take heed and beware of covetousness. For a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of things which he possesses. And he spake a parable unto them, saying, The ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentiful. And he thought within himself, saying, What shall I do, because I have no room where to bestow my fruits? Verse 18 says, And he said, This will I do. I will pull down my barns and build greater, and there I will bestow all of my fruits and my goods. And I will say to my soul, Soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But God said unto them, Thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then who shall those things be which thou hast provided? So is he that layeth up treasures for himself, and is not rich towards God. The other day I was walking, and as I was walking, I walked past a variety of rocks. The water was washing over them, and so they each looked bright and pretty. And as I was walking over them, I started to pick up what I considered to be the best or the prettiest, and even the most rare of what I was looking at. I don't collect rocks, and I have absolutely no need for a pile of rocks in my house, but I found myself gathering a few nonetheless. After collecting a few, I realized that I was finding each one more beautiful than the last. I had a purple one in my hand that a few minutes ago I had deemed perfect for me. And yet, when I walked over another purple one, I suddenly felt the need to abandon the old one and replace it with a newfound purple rock. 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 7 says, For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain that we will carry nothing out. The man in the parable that Jesus taught on, though he had more than he needed, wanted to save all of what he had. He worked to make sure that he would be able to keep as much as possible. As I realized I had become preoccupied with trying to find the better rock, I began to consider what other situations and events or items I had been trying to store up for unnecessarily. How easy it was for this man in the 12th chapter of Luke to justify keeping what was clearly excess. Had I gotten into the habit of trying to pile up the best of what I had? Luke chapter 12 and verse 15 said, Jesus spoke unto them and said, Take heed and beware of covetousness, for a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of the things in which he possesses. Even if we don't covet what someone else has, as we continue to gather what is excess in our lives, we create that spirit of covetousness. Jesus told the story of the man with too much after he was asked to mediate a family member involving an uneven split in inherited assets. One brother felt that he was owed more, that he needed to be given more, and Jesus felt that he needed to focus on what was important and remember the things of this life will pass away. As I walked, I wondered, was I growing too attached to things, to what is merely just stuff? How important have we allowed the stuff in our lives to become? Is having stuff what defines success? Is having more than what we need for the season the priority? Do we tend to demand that our fair share be given to us? With our words, we say that we seek after the things that are not of this world, but do we truly live this way? How easy would it be for us to leave the comforts of life and live what is viewed less than what we have known? Do we live with abundance? Do we possess more than what we need and are always asking or seeking for the better things that we feel we want? 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 11 instructs us to follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, and meekness. These are the things that should be most important to us. This is the stuff that we should be trying to fill our lives with. That's what Jesus was trying to teach when he teach to the slated brother. We can't take the stuff that we fill our lives with when we die. Remaining focused on the things that we should be filling our lives with can be a challenge simply because we have become so accustomed to filling our barns with excess. But in the end, the Bible truth is that we are to seek after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, and meekness. None of these things are tangible. These things cannot be bought or sold. The good news is that God is ever patient with us as we learn to live right. He will always give instruction through His Word, through His Spirit, and through the man of God. We can be assured that what God gives us, no matter how pleased we are with how much we got, even if we wanted something different or better, what we have, what God gave us, is the best of what we need. Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 5 says, "Let your conversation be without covetousness, and be content with such things as ye have. For He hath said, I will never leave you nor forsake you." That's really the greatest gift. I walked away with the first purple rock in my hand, trusting that it was the perfect one for me, knowing overall I couldn't keep a pile of rocks. I was content with what I had found, knowing it would serve as a reminder that I can't take anything tangible from this life, only the souls that I have won. I don't want to spend my time storing up heaps in the barn and have forgotten to have stored up that which is desired by God.